Adam. Adam is the founder of Agora App. Agora App is a tool that joins all your clouds in one. So tell us, Adam, how did you come up with the idea of Agora App?
Sure. So I had joined a site competition a couple years ago, and I needed to upload that file for submission, and I was about 10 minutes until the deadline. Excuse me, and I couldn't find the file. I was an early adopter of the cloud, so I had a Box, a Dropbox, Google Drive, a Sugar Sync, and an Evernote, and I just couldn't find the file. I logged in here and searched, nothing. I logged in here and searched, and I couldn't find it, and it was like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and I was getting really, really scared, and like within 2 minutes, I think I found it. It was on my Box, and I downloaded the file, I submitted it, everything was cool, but I never forgot that frustration, and I can imagine that other people had that frustration too. So Agora, very simply, it brings your Box, your Dropbox, and your Google Drive together in one spot. So you go to Agora, you log into Box, you log into Dropbox, you log into Google Drive, and all of your files are available to you in one spot. It also allows you to use the features of the individual clouds. So let's say you can edit a Google Drive document online, right? So if you go to Google Drive, you open a Word file or a PowerPoint file, bam, you can edit it online, even with other people live. But you can't do that for Dropbox. And the thing is, if you log into your Dropbox on Agora and you double-click on a Word document, it'll actually open in an online editor that you can live collaborate on. So even if you have a Agora with Box and someone else has an Agora with Dropbox, you two can live collaborate on a file. Which is absolutely incredible. It's cross-cloud, and it's a layer above the clouds that lets you do whatever you want. That's really what Agora is. So it started with the idea of data aggregation, and then enabled the features of all the various clouds connected to the platform.
Okay. So what was the first thing you did when you had the idea? What actions did you take to start your startup?
Sure. I mean, this is kind of my general philosophy, that you never really know what you're doing until you try it, and then you learned it because of experience. So I didn't really know what to do at all. It was my first idea. It was the first time I thought, hey, maybe I can start a business out of this. So I found the right people and asked them the right questions. That was really the first step, and then they guided me along the path. And obviously you have to make your own decisions as you reach different points in the journey, but to get the journey started, you need someone. I think that you need to ask the right people the right questions, right? So I found someone who was an entrepreneur. He had started and sold 4 different companies, and I said, hey, I have an idea. What do I do? And he guided me to software developers to create a spec document, a feasibility study on the idea, whether it was possible, a blueprint on how to build it. And we also incorporated, and because the technology that came out of the idea and the intentions that I had when I wanted to build it, it was a patentable technology, so we also filed a patent on it.
Oh, so you made a few patents?
Yeah, a couple.
That's great. Is it custom to do that in the in the American scene, in the New York scene? Because here software is not patentable.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a unique question. There's a larger question just in general.
Yeah.
Software is much more difficult to patent, and typically companies like Facebook or Twitter, believe it or not, a company like Facebook, their technology is dead simple. I mean, when you just learn how to code, one of the first things, you join one of those general assembly courses, or someone's teaching you how to code for the first time, one of the first things you learn is code a mock Facebook app or code a mock Instagram app. Their technology is really simple. It's really the idea and the platform that made it succeed, and the people behind it, perhaps most importantly. But when it comes to security platforms or anything to do with the finance world or the medical world, there are advanced technologies that really manipulate data to such a degree that the method behind the platform is patentable, right? So you can't patent an idea, but you can patent a process. So Facebook doesn't really have a process, right? A company like Instagram doesn't really have a process. It's a very simple, SQL database with relational databases associated. What we were doing happened to be a little bit more complicated, which is good and bad, but it was complicated enough that the solution to the problem, at least in the way that we did it, was a patentable process. So we figured, hey, why don't we at least try to protect ourselves, because there could be an acquisition opportunity not only from the platform and the consumer growth model and the revenue from B2B, but also just potentially a technology licensing model, a license acquisition model. So to do that and to protect ourselves in that case, we patented the technology. Is he there? He froze on my screen.
Adam, I still here.
Okay, you're still here, but I think Ricardo's off.
Yeah, it was like frozen.
Yeah. Okay, let's give him a couple seconds, I guess.
Yes, I think so.
If you have any questions to ask me, you can ask me as well.
Okay, yeah. Then. No, as actually on my team, I have an intellectual property group. They are working. They have been in New York like 3 months ago. They get the prize from the Latin American intellectual property teams. And here in the country, is security that is changing around apps, software, all the issues trying to support the patents here in Colombia. And you've been in Medellin doing what specifically?
Say that again?
When you traveled to Colombia last time, what specifically had you been working on?
Oh, it was for Agora. I mean, one of the people that invested in our product, his name is Andres Pareto. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I assume you have if you're in Colombia. He's a pretty well-known guy, and he flew us in because he wanted to open our eyes to the incredible tech scene that was going on in Medellin. He had us speak at an event. He had us participate in the CodeRise program, and we're going to be sponsoring a couple events there. And he also wanted to introduce us to the various developers and business development leaders in Medellin, as well as the entire Rutaena organization, which we were absolutely blown away by, and we're definitely going to be getting involved with them as well.
Okay.
But again, it was all for Agora. He invested in that product, and he knows that we're looking to expand our dev team, and we can either continue to expand it in Argentina or New York or both. And he wanted to offer us the possibility, or at least the knowledge, that hey, there's something going on here in Medellin and Colombia that's really great. Why don't you take a look and see maybe this is the right place for you guys to expand and continue growing? And he did a really good job convincing us. So we're heavily considering it.
Yeah. Actually, technology right now is moving a lot around the country. I'm coming from a town on the east part of Colombia. It's called Bucaramanga, and they had a cluster related to the TITs and apps. It's not as mature as the Medellin one, but it's starting. I support them on creating lines around the oil and gas business. Actually, Landmark from Halliburton, they got from one competition they make with the students there some good applications that they are willing to continue develop and apply to the oil business. So it's a good exercise to do that. Actually, I want to reply this one here in Bogota, try to get more this type of model in our industry. The oil and gas industry here in Colombia or part of Latin America, we're starting a lot of things now around technology and innovation. There are ones like Brazil and Argentina that are trying to do the spin-offs around hardware, not too much around software or applications, but that will be an interesting point that we can increase now here in Colombia, because actually the government is giving a quite good support for the different regions. If you develop in some areas of sector that the government declare will be the focus for different regions, they will support this development of the applications. So it's a good ground. It's a good ground to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the guys at Rutaena are either completely funded by the government or at least are closely related to the government, in the sense that that's one of their major focuses, to try and raise up the tech scene in Medellin. And so they're offering different types of stipends or different types of assistance or office space if you're looking to try and build a team in Colombia. and we want to work closely with them to not only try and help build our team there, but to potentially help bring other teams as well, because of the increased bandwidth or the increased abilities of conversation of conversing online, or managing tasks online or things like that. It's much more possible to have a successful distributed team, and I know that sometimes that's still taboo. Like, you want your engineers with you, you want your architects with you, so that you can discuss face to face, and you can move together quickly and you can be agile. But the internet has really enabled us, at least personally, to have a very successful distributed team. Our entire team right now is pretty much in Argentina, and honestly, we haven't noticed any issues at all. I don't think there would have been a difference if they were in the office with us. We use the right tools, we use the right connectivity platforms, and that's it. We really feel like they're in the office next door. It's just a bit of a flight to get to them.
Okay, yes. And are you planning to go to, you say, to another countries here in Latin America, yeah?
We really want to be like guided. So it's wherever someone says, hey, there's a potential tech scene here or there. We'd be happy to go if we could set up enough. If us going would be beneficial to us, would be worth the trip. So for Colombia, Andres set up pretty much all the meetings for us, or he introduced us to the right people. So it was definitely worth our while. But we'd definitely be interested to see what's going on in other countries. But we would want to, yeah, I mean, in short, yes, but we'd want to obviously set up the infrastructure before we go. And also take a kind of focus, right? So now, based on what we've seen, we kind of, yeah, and then take it from there.
Okay, let me